Yo, what is going on today, YouTube? Hope you guys are doing fantastic. Today, we are doing my 3 favorite gods in each role. These could be gods that I've played in the 8 years that I've been playing Smite, 9 years that I've been playing Smite. Could be something all the way back from Season 2. Could be something that in SPL that I really wanted to try that was just really fun. It is just going to be stuff that I very much enjoy and how I would build it currently in this meta. There's going to be 15 gods, 3 in each role. There's going to be no repeats. I was really close to having 1 repeat, because I love him, but I decided to go a different way just to make sure there was just 15 different gods. They're all not going to be just like, oh, warriors in solo lane, assassins in jungle. I'm trying to make it very weird because I like playing weird things. Weird things is fun to me, especially if I do well with them and I think they're good. So before delaying any longer, let's jump right in. Start with ADC this time.
That's nasty. Starting
with ADC Mercury. This is one of like the first gods that I really enjoyed playing in ADC because SPL way back when had a little bit of Mercury ADC when Golden Blade was a thing. After they removed Golden Blade or a bunch of nerfs happened, whatever, Mercury kind of fell out of the meta in ADC. But I've still tried to make them work, and there are games where I play it and I just dominate because I get, I mean, like even being even with the enemy ADC, you just ult down lane, you have a free kill every time, or you at minimum pull relics. The build that I've been rocking with them, I've been mixing around Eye and Cowl. I think Leader's Cowl and Hunter's Cowl both have a place. I think Seer of the Jungle just allows it so that your damage on objectives is insane. So Seer of the Jungle, Bladed Boomerang, Devoted Deathbringer, Serrated Edge, Silver Branch, Bloodforge. Now you're probably thinking, where's your rage? Well, I had an idea 2 years ago or about a year back that Bladed Boomerang is just a better option than rages on Mercury because it allows you to go for this Silver Branch bow. 30% pen with this. You've got the 20% here, you've got 30% here, puts you at 50%. You also get the extra attacks, the extra crit chance from Devoted Deathbringer. And then every boomerang you pick up, you are also going to be getting extra stacks of crit chance. So you have very high crit chance. You have got a lot of crit. You've got a lot of power. You've got good pen. You've got really good lifesteal. You've got good objective damage. Yes, you can go rage. I just don't like going rage at duo because I'm very rarely getting kills. I'm trying to farm up to be at like this Deathbringer spot. But I really like this entire combination of items on Mercury. It always feels really good. And I do really well with it. Next up, a simpler one. And I'm only going to say this one time. Every other god, I think I can play it right now and do really well with. Except this god, because she is so bad. And it is Izanami. I don't know why I like this character. I don't get it. She's very simple. Nothing is like super unique about her except their auto attacks. But I think it really is just those auto attacks that I really do like. The build that I've been rocking with her is a Death Embrace Stormseeker Aussie. So you've got double flat pen, and then you go Rage, Deathbringer, Executioner. Stormseeker as this permanently scaling item allows you to go a little bit less attack speed, but it does mean you have to fight a little bit more because you need those stacks from Stormseeker. Death Embrace also gets a lot of value from having max attack speed. Izanami gets a lot of attack speed in her 1. She also gets the Stormseeker attack speed. And if the game does go really late and I'm feeling super strong, super powerful, I would maybe sell this Aussie for a Silver Branch because I have so much value from the Stormseeker. And now it's very rare that you're ever going to get the value from that. You're going to want like capped out Silver Branch for this to be worth it because then your only lifesteal is on Death Embrace. But if you do get to like those 300, 400 stacks, try it out. It's probably really strong. I've done it one time and even then it was risky. I don't even know if I won the game, but this is Izanami. And the last duo lane hunter god will be Zeus. I have loved the idea of Zeus ADC because I love that his auto attacks on his passive scale up in damage for auto attacks that you hit. Sacrificial Shroud is something that I think is really interesting on auto attack Zeus because you're only taking your max health as punishment when you're using your abilities. A lot of the times you don't really want to be using your abilities on Zeus ADC because your value comes from your auto attacks, but there's some scenarios that you still want that. You still want that extra damage because you don't have a ton of auto attack, or sorry, a ton of power in your kit. Bancrofts and Typhons combo together really well. Makes your autos do a lot of damage. Demonic Grip, something you kind of need if you're playing a magical auto attack god. Hastened Ring for some survivability to kind of kite. And then Griffin Wings to make it so your auto attacks hit better. A lot of mages have this weird issue where their auto attacks just feel weird unless they have Griffin Wings, except like Ullr, Freya, Kronos, Sol. I think they all feel good. The other interesting thing about Sack Shot is it does have 40 physical protections. It makes it harder for you to dive, but it's a very cool combination that feels very good. With ADC out of the way, we go to support. And we've got 2 Guardians in support. One of them, though, is more of a solo laner, and it's Cthulhu. Now, if you know me, You know, I love this character. I've loved playing him in duo lane. I think he's a lot of fun. I think he has had times where he's been underrated in duo, but currently he's rated pretty properly. He's not very good, but his build feels very, very fun. Spartan Flag, Thebes, Contagion, Void Domaru. A lot of just damage and survivability in these 4 items. Curse Weaver gives you that little extra damage while also giving you a little bit of extra survivability. And then Erosion to make it when you're diving a little bit easier to dive. There's a fill 6th item here. If you're feeling very strong, you go Deso Divine. I'm just putting Erosion here because I don't want to like miss out on a kill because they have a shell or something. Next up, Kuzenbo. I've yapped about this character enough on my channel. 1, he's OP. 2, I think he's underrated still, which is crazy. He is so OP at diving the enemy backline. It's very hard to peel a Kuzenbo. 1, 2, not die to a Kuzenbo, and then 3, also just killing the Kuzenbo. Mitigations in his passive, along with just a lot of good base survivability in these items, and then just a little bit of damage from Deso. And he does so much damage, it's so hard to play against. But Kuzenbo, awesome. I love playing him. Hate playing against him, but love playing him. Lastly, for the supports, no surprise for this one, because it is one of my favorite gods to play, period. I have not loved her after the change to her ultimate, meaning she gets healing when she's ulting someone. I think it's just kind of dropped some of her enjoyment. I think it made her kind of just more lame to play because it's like a change to a character that didn't need a change in that area. I think this is a spam character with an ultimate where you want to fight around your team, and they kind of changed it to her now being just an uber 1v1 character, which I don't love, but not my game, not my god. Like, I wasn't the one that created her, so it's not my decision. But I still love playing her in duo lane because nothing has really changed in duo. Sentinels into Chronos Pendant, good survivability from Sentinels. Chronos Pendant for that spam. Binding for a little bit of survivability, and then also allowing you to kind of one-shot squishies. Pair that with Deso Rod, it gives you a lot of damage. And then Abyssal Stone, because you have so many abilities you're tossing out, you can almost always mess with somebody's cooldowns with this Abyssal Stone. Feels very good. Love Ishtar, love this build. Try it out. Let me know what you guys think. And before I go any farther, if you guys are enjoying the video, make sure you guys drop a like, subscribe to the channel. Also, I stream on Twitch 8 a.m. to like 3-ish most days. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So check it out. Drop a follow at the channel. Say hello from YouTube if you are there and I am live. If you're watching this video, there's actually a 99% chance that I am live, unless my power ran out. So go say hello there. For mid lane, starting with Wukong. I love Wukong. This is such a fun mid lane character. Don't like him in solo lane. Think he's boring in solo lane, but for some reason my psychopath mind thinks he's fun in mid. Bluestone Soul Leader for that good survivability, good damage. Erendite to kind of combo with it. Erendite is a strange item. I was thinking about just going Jotuns, but I love Erendite's movement speed. It makes him just a little bit harder to deal with, and that extra damage off of the ultimate does feel like it kind of pushes the damage over the edge. I really like Erendite. Hydras for threat, like one-shot threat onto squishies, pairing it with Serrated and Bloodforge. I will say, if the game does go very, very late and you're at like 50 minutes and you're getting one shot, sell the Bloodforge for a mantle. Bloodforge is good if you're like kind of ahead and you can kind of dive and very rarely get punished if you play it well. If it does go late, or if they just have a lot of bursts or a lot of CC, or they're targeting you, just go Mantle. It's not going to change too much. The survivability of Mantle is a lot of the times a very big positive. Next up for mid lane, Nox. I love playing 50% cooldown Nox in mid. Your damage is actually really, really good, even with this build. Sphinx's Bauble has been nerfed. I understand it's 2,800 gold, which is insane, but it's still just a very fun item to play with Nox. You're basically fishing for relics, or if somebody doesn't have relics, you're going to try to just poke them out. You farm really, really well. You have a lot of survivability because of your dash, your damage reduction on your ult, and then Gemma focuses movement speed. All in all, great build, a lot of fun. Love it. Oh, and then something I forgot to mention with Nox is she gets power in her passive, and then that just makes the Staff of Mirrodin, Gemma Focus, and Rada Tahuti just kind of combo together to make up for a lot of the damage that she's not having in her kit. So that's like a positive with the build, where she doesn't really need a ton of damage because she gets it from her passive, and then usually you just build like an item or two that enhance your damage, Gemma Focus and Staff, and it makes up for it. Next up for mid lane, Camazotz. This is an impossible god to gank in mid lane. It's also an impossible god most of the time to avoid in 1v1s. And that's kind of what most mid lane gods want to do. If you're playing against Janus, you're probably never killing him. But outside of Janus, Most other mid laners, you can just kill off cooldown. Bluestone Brooch, a little bit of damage on tanks. It's mostly just for that early HP 5 and early lane clear. I've tried Boombas, I've tried Eye. They just don't feel nearly as good. Jotun's not a surprise. And this Bloodforge second maybe looks a little weird, but that gives you a little bit of that survivability, the movement speed, the lifesteal. And if you do get a kill, that shield to feel good for the early game. And it feels just a better spike than any of these items second. Heartseeker Crusher duality to kind of round out the build. A Blink 2 auto 1 auto is a kill against 99% of gods. And then after that, if they Aegis it or something, you can just ult after them. All in all, it feels really good. Next up, the junglers. And we'll start with my favorite assassin jungle, or maybe my favorite. She's not my favorite anymore. For once a while ago, she was my favorite god, and it is Serket. I adore Serket. I love the skill ceiling of her kit. I love the slipperiness of her kit. I've played her support, solo, mid, jungle. Not ADC though. And every single time I have just a really fun time playing Serket. Boomba's Spear into Jotun's Vigor, Rage, Deathbringer, Bloodforge, Serrated. Nothing too surprising with the build. You're going crit. You go Devoted Deathbringer. You have almost 100% crit. I actually think you have over 100% crit with Serket ult, passive, Rage, and then Devoted Deathbringer. As long as you have Rage stacks. Serrated, Bloodforged, Jotuns give you a whole lot of survivability. So that means 1v1 potential. Build is very simple, but very effective and very fun. Next up, a Hunter, which is not too surprising. Many of you are probably thinking, oh, it's like Ullr or Hu Yi. It's on her. Guys, I love on her. I love this character. ADC mid jungle. Try to play him wherever I can. But the jungle build is one that I've always really, really liked because of just the wow factor of it. There's just so many plays to be made with this god and this build. There's nothing quite like it. Looking at the build quickly, you're probably saying I'm missing lifesteal. This build is not like a trading build. You are trying to one-shot someone. Boombas, Jotuns, Hydra's Rage, Deathbringer, Titan's Bane. The one thing that you can kind of change up depending on how you want to play or what you prefer is if you go the other Deathbringer for the increased crit chance, that is also fine. I just prefer the cooldowns that you get from Boombas and Deathbringer together. Feels great. Something that you can try and that I've tried to fit into the builds is you can go Fail Not instead of Jotuns, or maybe you sell Jotuns for Fail Not late game. The issue with Fail Not first item is that it's just a horrible spike, and then every single one of these items is a horrible spike first item. Jotuns kind of fits that niche of being a good spike, but you could just sell this for Fail Not late game, or you could try going like Hydra's Fail Not, and it would make Malicious Deathbringer a lot better if you had that extra crit chance. But with this build, you jump on someone, you auto them, you impale them, you auto them, or you one someone, auto them, 2 auto, and you're just wiping them off the map. If you crit, you get a whole bunch of cooldowns. You're at 40% here. You have the cooldown reduction from Boomba's proc. You also have the Malicious Deathbringer proc to increase your cooldowns. All in all, super fun build. You will one-shot. Give it a try. And the last god to talk about, this god is a damage-dealing god. He's not a tank. It's Xing. Xing jungle is broken, and it's a blast. You pull relics for free, and even after they relic, you can just kill them right after. Protector, Chronos Pendant. Chronos just to kind of get that clear going. You're really, really bad until you get ultimate for the most part, so you're kind of just farming. But then once you get this Chronos Pendant online, you just play for relics. Once you get the Deso online, you can start killing people. Once you get the Staff of Mirrodin online, you're a threat to almost everyone. And then Rod Divine Rune, you are a one-shotting machine who can pull relics. And even if they have beads, you can kill them if they don't have Aegis, because your ult is still doing damage even if they're beadsing it. The ult scales 35% and it procs 5 times. This does 175 damage, or 175% scaling damage on top of 500 base. The damage is insane. You actually just one-shot with the ultimate. It is so good. It's so broken OP. I love it. Lastly, solo lane. We'll start with the most obvious because, guys, what's there not to love about the big baby? Also 3,000 exactly. That's awesome. I love playing Vamana. I've always been a big Vamana player. Even when he's bad, I like playing Vamana. When he's good, I'll still play Vamana. I had a crit build from season like 8 where crit mana was something that I had a lot of fun with. I have a lot of like TikTok clips, YouTube shorts about it. I think the crit build is still fine. I think it feels a lot worse with no demon, or with no wind demon and no Shadow Drinker. I think those two are very important items to Vamana, but this is the build that I kind of default to now. Active Animosity, Equinox. Equinox is a very strong Vamana item for one reason mostly, is it kind of gives them a little bit extra damage that goes into the late game, and then early game is just a really good spike. You can sell Equinox for Kins late game, but I like to keep it a lot of the times because of the movement speed it gives. Berserker Shoguns for that extra attack speed. You're a proc item abuser with this, so you want a lot of attack speed, which is Equinox, Berserker, Shoguns, and Hastened. And then Void Shield just to make it so you do a little bit more damage to tanks if you don't have that Kins. If you have the Kins, you could go something else in place of the Void Shield. I just like how this build feels, and Vamana feels really good with it. Next up, the one god I was planning on repeating. I was going to repeat him as an ADC with the Mannequins build, but Zhong Kui. The really fun part about this build is, yes, you can get ganked, but this is one of the few gods that can turn that gank into a 2v1 because you should be bullying out your lane. Conduit gives you that extra clear. Bancrofts gives you that survivability. The thing that I think a lot of people underrate with Bancrofts is not the healing and the power. It's the claw shield that you get. The claw shield, while it's very convoluted, it is a very big shield that you get during ganks that just make it so the enemy team isn't ready for that big shield that's popping out. Comboing that with Warlocks is extra damage and the survivability, the health from it. Divine and Deso's flat pen and burst from Divine. You do a whole bunch of damage. The Mantle is just that like survivability cherry on top just to make sure you don't get one shot when you blink in, because you don't really need more damage. You do enough damage with just these 5 items. Blink in. If they have a lot of CC, go beads, obviously. If they don't have a ton of CC, if you can greed an Aegis, Aegis is very, very good. Or even Thorns, because it's mitigation now, which is crazy good. But Zhong feels great. I've always loved this character, and this build, I love it in solo. And then lastly, shout out Cyclone Spin. Last god is Bakasura. One of my favorite metas to ever watch in SPL was the NV Cyclone Spin solo lane GOAT. He would play Wukong, Mercury, Baka, ADCs. It was awesome to watch. And this is one of those few gods that I always just kind of kept close, that I just really enjoyed playing a lot in solo lane. Animosity into Frostbound gives you a lot of survivability and a lot of damage. Baka doesn't really need a ton of damage in the early game. You just need points into your 3. And then once you get this kin size online, 4 or 5 points into your 3, you are shredding the enemy solo laner, and you're very rarely getting even close to low because you get the health from Frostbound, the protections from your 2, Axe's protections also. Comboing that with Serrated, Berserkers, Bloodforge into the late game, you can kind of just blink onto whoever or just ult whoever and maybe not kill them, but get them low enough that they have to run away. Or if you do kill them, you get Bloodforge Shield, and allows you to kind of just go a little bit more ham. All in all, though, love this god. All these 15 gods are really fun combos that I've played through the year that I still have like an attachment to. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you guys have wonderful today. I'll see you guys again next time. Peace.